RPG 그대로의 RPG 불멸의 전사 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to SPL. Having a good time here with my boy GTR. We already got Samsung up 2-0. A couple of really quick games. That first one was especially crazy between Reality and Classic.
Yeah, and Dia versus Myungshik. Myungshik losing by the tiniest of seconds there. And obviously a face of disappointment from Myungshik. But our next two games should be dandy games. We've got Solar against Dark on Frost, and if Solar loses to Dark, we will have Bravo versus Impact on Overgrowth.
Yeah, and Dark is on a roll of his own. I feel like he's definitely the heavy favorite against Solar, especially with how Solar is doing nowadays. You can see he's got that downwards purple arrow. Not the best sign there for Samsung in game number 3. But again, it's a ZVZ. It's kind of a crazy matchup nowadays, one of the most volatile for sure. And that last one, I feel like really anything can happen, but I'm still favoring Bravo.
And Solar having that yellow blonde hair, the color of the sun.
Yeah, it makes sense, you know?
Yeah. Doing those hand warm-ups, and we have Ryung here. Oh, not Ryung, Dark. Because his name is Park Byung-gu, so I was like, oh yeah, okay. Okay, we have Dark here, SSL champion, and probably the strongest Zerg in Legacy of the Void at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
And these guys have got a decent amount of recent history too, going up against each other in the winners match semifinals at SSL.
I think it was winners final.
Winners final.
Yep.
Okay, that's the name. And Dark took it pretty easily. I think it was a
4-2.
Okay, 4-2, and definitely looked like the heavy favorite there. Solar, you can see in Pro League as well, is only 2-4. And Dark, even before the game, looking really cocky, confident. In the chat, he's like, "Hey Solar, my Dongsang, my younger brother, just warm up. Make sure you warm up well before this game, because you're gonna have something coming tonight."
Yeah, that being said though, look at these records between Solar and Dark. It's actually 8-7 in favor of Dark, so pretty close.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to talk about Solar because we haven't seen him that often in Pro League in round 2. I feel like it feels like Stork has lost some bit of faith in.
And he may have lost a bit of faith in himself after those SSL games. Didn't look too happy. Kanata the only one to vote for Solar. Let's see how it goes in game number 3, a ZVZ. Down here in the bottom left in the blue, one of our Zerg players, it is Solar.
And spawning here at the top left as the other Zerg player, as the orange, it is Dark.
Dark, the teammate of Sue, who's also got a very nice record so far in ZVZ. You were talking about how it seems like every Zerg that he plays against doesn't really understand that he goes the same build every time with the 12 pool. I think into Banelings, right? Just the 13-12 and just getting a really aggressive build to start. So Dark not taking a page from his teammate tonight. Dark, I feel like just more of a standard, solid ZVZ.
Well, you also have to consider the map we're playing on right now, which is Frost. And Frost's probably the largest map in the map pool for Pro League this round. So, what's that? Hong Kong. I think that person was from Hong Kong.
He's from Hong Kong, and he wrote this himself, and he came by himself. And he
is supporting Solar.
Solar
Yeah.
fighting, okay.
Yeah, Solar fighting. But yeah, as I said before we got digressed by the guy from Hong Kong, is that Frost is one of the larger maps in the map pool. It's really counterproductive to go for the 12 pool gas because of how big the map is. So it's no surprise that both players are going for the early expansion.
Yeah, very, very similar builds here. It looks like earlier gas from Dark, but that's about it. And we'll just have to wait and see how this game goes. We'll have to wait a bit to see exactly how these builds flesh out.
And both players are scouting vertically, so they will spot their opponents in the first try. And what I'm curious to see, considering that we have these vertical spawns, is where the players are going to place their overlords to detect movement. Because overlord placement is one of those skills, I guess, in Zerg versus Zerg that is very underrated because of the way the matchup works. You've got to see where your opponent is all the time. So really curious to see how these players will place their overlords. Yeah,
especially on a map like this, Frost, where we had it last year, and the year before that, but it's only a new map now into round 2, as it did get removed and just put in again. So we'll see exactly if they remember how this map is going and where exactly to put those overlords placements. How have they practiced? Have they practiced enough to know about that? And I would assume they have by now. We're already nearing the end of round 2 here. It's funny how time flies. We'll see how the Zergling Scout gets done here.
One Zergling does get sniped by the Queen. Second gets sniped as well, but it looks like well, I was going to call him Samsung. It looks like Solar here is going to see everything of Dark. And as you mentioned, Frost was used last year and the year before, but you have to remember that it feels like Zerg versus Zerg is the matchup that has been least affected by Legacy of the Void. So a lot of the strategies not really have changed thanks to the units, only the worker count, and that's about it, I guess.
Well, we got a full wall off here by Solar. He is going for a much quicker lair than Dark, who actually got a fast third base. And you were talking about Overlord placement. Solar saw that immediately. And the second he did, he put down that wall. He wants to deny any kind of scouting here. Dark knows that he hasn't taken a third base, but he doesn't know exactly what the build is just yet.
Oh, he's going to hide a Spire here, I assume. Yep, okay, so there's no way that Dark will see that unless... Actually, no, he's going to get his own Overlord in, and that's going to sniff that out. But
yeah, that placement is almost counterproductive at this point. He's going to drop in here, and that's a very common location if you consider, like, every other location is going to be very well defended. I feel like it may have been better behind the natural gases. It's very hard to get an Overlord over there, especially with all your queens at the front. But here we go. Drop's going to come in here. 2 Banelings and 2 Lings.
Oh, but this might not work for Dark in terms of, is he going to scout that Spire? Because, yeah, as you see here, the Observer is going to point out the fact that he's not going to scout the Spire, but looks like these Banelings here are on creep. They're actually moving so fast. We'll see how much damage they can do to these drones.
He's trying to split them up. He's got the Lings in there, too, to try to go for cleanup duty, but 2 Banelings and 2 Lings only get 2 drones, and he also does not scout that. He saw the tip of the creep, but he has not seen the Spire yet.
That being said, though, this Overlord that was dropping is morphing into an Overseer, and yep, there we go. The Spire is scouted here from Dark, so we'll see how he'll react to this. But the first 5 Mutalisks are actually coming out for Solar, and Dark has no anti-air except for Queens at the moment.
Yeah, he did see it right as it was finishing up, so he should know that this should be here very, very quickly. Is immediately going to make another Queen and make a Hydralisk Den, as well as put down 2 Spores. It looks like he knows the exact timing of, you know, when that Spire finishes and when he should expect the Mutas. So he's preparing in time, and that Scout was really, really important for him. I don't think these Mutas will get too much damage.
I think the purpose of these Mutalisks are just to hunt for Overlords that are straggling around the map. You can see here how Solar has just split his Mutalisk into 4 directions. He's going to scout all across the map, see if there's any weird, dark hidden bases or anything like that. We've seen a lot of hidden bases on Frost from the CJ Zergs, but it looks like he's not going to commit to any more Mutalisks. He's just going to go back to the Roach production and just use these Mutalisks to control the map.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, if you ever get your Mutas scouted in this matchup, basically the only damage you're going to get done, unless your opponent makes a mistake, is those Overlords you were talking about. If they don't scout the Spire, you could possibly walk in, or rather fly in before the Spores are down for your opponent, and then only then you could get some more potential damage. But you can see he's sniping some creep tumors. He's trying to find an angle here, but it's not going to be all that much damage done against Dark.
Yeah, some really cute Mutalisk micro here by Solar against Dark. Is going to snipe a few structures, a few creep tumors, as you said. It's going to annoy Dark here, but it's not going to kill him eventually. So just a minor nuisance to what Dark is doing right now. But Dark does have those Hydralisk Scouts, so no way that these Mulas can face the army head-on.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he kills the creep tumors too. It makes the defense against the Mutas a lot harder. You see the second and third bases are not connected by creep anymore. So all these units are slower. The Mutas have more potential to do that damage as they come across. And he's got his own nice contingency of Roaches back at home. We'll see how much the Hydras will help Dark in this fight, though.
Yeah, looks like here Dark is posturing to make an attack here on the third base of Solar, but Solar with so many Roaches here, the Banelings do get hits on the Roaches, but these Hydralisks doing so much damage here to the Roaches, but yeah, Dark has to move back here.
That's a huge amount of Roaches, and look at this, there's not even that many Hydras. He's forced to fight when the Mutas join up, and Solar is going to roll over this army, and with how close these guys are at vertical spawns, Solar may be able to end the game from here.
Look at it, look at the supply count. It is 82 army supply in favor of Solar compared to 52 of Dark. This is going to be a large climb for Dark to come back into this game and destabilize.
Is Kanata's belief in Solar coming true? It looks like it may possibly be so. And now he's got a nice little concave at the bottom of this ramp. Dark forced to pull the drones here, but he's losing so much. Even Ravagers in the mix here for Solar.
Oh, this is looking really hard for Dark here. There's just a superior roach count here from Solar. Ravagers to boot with this armor composition and just going to add that extra splash damage as insult to injury, and he's going to lose his third base here. Dark is looking to die here. I mean, I'm not really sure what else he can do.
Yeah, there's just way too much stuff out now for Solar. He's going to force the fight. GG! And Samsung on the back of Solar gets a 3-0 against SK Telecom. What a way to start the night. That's pretty unbelievable, man.
I am shocked. I am so shocked that SK Telecom just fell like that. Like, all those 3 games weren't even close at all. They weren't very macro-y close games. They were pretty much stomps.
Yeah, the first one was the closest where it really got down to the wire. And, you know, the pylon snipe by Myungshik just barely off. But, like, Solar giving Dark a run for his money, and that is some really sweet revenge for him. Getting knocked out of SSL, or knocked down to the losers match at least to face off against Stats. And you can see Dark is feeling it. He was the one to try to keep SKT in this after his 2 teammates failed before him. And he was so cocky, even in the chat, he's like, yeah, I hope you warmed up, Solar, lol. Then he gets wrecked.
Yeah, Solar getting the last laugh here for Samsung Galaxy, and Samsung Galaxy taking the series over SK Telecom T1 3-0, and that should vault them up the rankings.
Oh, that definitely should. I'm really curious to see where they'll fall after this, and also who the MVP is going to be. It might be a reality to talk about that awesome game, and as you can see, Solar was still on the bench, but here are the results. 3-0 Samsung over SKT.
Yeah, and honestly, the biggest surprise here is Dark losing, because Dark is the strongest Zerg in Legacy of the Void at the moment, no doubt about that, and maybe his Overlord play that we're all accustomed to seeing from Dark is just not hitting its stride right at the moment because everyone figured out how he plays his Zerg.
Yeah, maybe it's just losing a little bit of power as people are beginning to figure it out, as you said, and the Classic losing to Reality is also a bit of an upset. I mean, Classic wasn't doing that amazingly well at the beginning.